Hi, I'm Dory Krogge. We're here at Technology Center of DuPage. Come inside with me and we'll take a look at Future Ready at TCD. We are at Bistro 301 at TCD, and this is one of the most successful programs at TCD, the culinary arts, pastry chefs. You can explain all the career opportunities that come out of here, but I'm with Faith Jennetta, the head of the program. Faith, first tell me a little bit about your background and how you ended up here at TCD.
Well, I'm a professionally trained chef, so I spent the first half of my career moving about the country and building skills. I worked in hotels and restaurants, private clubs, and then I spent 13 years owning a wholesale bakery. Mm-hmm. And then, like everybody else, I came to TCD via networking through my professional groups, and I've been an instructor here now this is my 11th year.
Okay, and tell me about the various programs that fall under you.
Well, we are the hospitality industry, which we are the second largest employer in the United States, and we do an overview of the industry here. So students do the direct career paths of culinary, baking, service, but then as well they have career exposures into food science, food nutrition, food styling, food photography. There is a whole realm of careers for us to explore.
And so do all of the students that come through you hit all of those areas, or do they choose their
No, they have
path?
an exposure to all of them. The idea is to help have career guidance while we're here. So part of our mission is to build skills for them, but as well as to help them do career planning.
Okay. And is there a difference between the first-year students and second-year students? I know
Correct.
that all of these programs, ideally the students are here for both years, junior and
Correct.
senior.
Well, our first-year students are really at first just in labs building initial skills. They probably never have been in a professional kitchen before. As they build them, they move forward into our second-year curriculum, which is a little more advanced. They are doing higher-level food, and then they're opening our businesses. A typical day would be, initially, they're coming in at all different times, so they're self-guiding. They are doing independent learning, and then as they come together, they are having either a short lecture or short demo, and then they're breaking into groups and they're preparing whatever they're preparing for the day. So they cook or bake, and then we get together after everything is done and analyze, and then do a lot of great tasting.
Mm-hmm. And do you have students that are literally following all of those career paths, or do you tend to get a majority of students that are chefs or pastry chefs?
Well, it's cyclical. At the moment, we're seeing a lot of people trending towards pastry chefs. And that is a reflection of the Food Network, of what the media is pushing out there. But right now we're seeing a lot more people interested in baking and pastry, which is a great career path. That was my initial career path. And what people have really started to explore is all of the commercial parts of our industry. It used to be that you would come out as a pastry chef out of culinary school or as a trained on that path, and your career options were to work in a restaurant, a club, a hotel. But now there are so many, little businesses that have popped up that you can have a real life. Because our industry tends to be, one that is working when other people are playing. But if you are in the manufacturing end of it, which there are a lot of bakeries opening now, we're starting to see a trend back where, we're seeing a lot of little entrepreneurs kicking up. We're starting to see a lot of large producers as well selling to, other restaurants, other clubs, other hotels. So it's a great career path.
Do you have partnerships of people coming in?
Oh, absolutely. Our program really is driven through industry. We have an advisory board that's made up of professional chefs as well as colleges to try and make their transitions as smooth as possible, and then also say what is appropriate to teach them and what is not.
Mm-hmm. And do those partners come into the classroom and help you in the instruction?
Well, they're in here, a couple times a year simply just for meetings to help guide the program, and then there are industry experts. If we're filleting fish, we bring somebody in that's that expert. It's really important for our students to have that connection with them. Mm-hmm. At this point, we are still teachers to them, but when they see a professional chef walk in the door, even though we are, they're viewed differently.
Right.
And then they are the experts in those areas.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that's a networking opportunity for them.
Absolutely.
Once they get into college and looking for internships and that sort of thing.
We actually teach our students how to network and teach them the value of it. A lot of times our opportunities are coming to us via our students, because our students are phenomenally great at being a foot soldier, going out there and talking about TCD, talking about the experiences. Then they bring back the advisory board member or the professional to us. That's happened quite often. We are truly in the motto of hard work is rewarded. So we have many scholarship programs. Some of them are simply for achievement in the program. We have a Student of the Quarter program where each student, based upon their GPA, is allowed to, earn the right to compete. So at the end of the year, they compete for funds from TCD, which we do an annual event, a foundation fundraiser that we ourselves raise money for scholarships. Then we have our business partners that come in as well. They believe in our program. They offer scholarship opportunities to our students. And then as well through competitions. Our students are very active in competitions and they do very well. I mean, we have one in the country. We've placed first, second, third, 7th, 10th. And at that point, it is our professional organizations that are funding them for scholarships to go on to post-secondary education. The competition is run by ProStart, which is done through the National Restaurant Association. So it is countrywide. All the states compete. Initially, they have to win their state, and then from there, they move forward to their national competition. National competition changes all the time. Last year, it was in Baltimore. This year, I believe it is going to be in Kansas City.
Okay.
So they move based upon that.
And does TCD provide the funds needed to get the
Absolutely.
students
Yep,
through that as well?
Our school steps up and takes care of our expenses. When they can't, that is part of our fundraising, is to help support those students.
That's wonderful. Are there any career paths that maybe the students learn about here that go, wow, I never thought of that. Maybe I should go down that avenue?
I think maybe photo, food styling, food photography, because that's marrying maybe a natural skill they have or a natural like. Nutrition. Our students
that's a
that
good
are
point.
strong in science never think to marry their science skill to their cooking skill. Now nutrition is, obviously a demand topic, but as well it's becoming legislated. If you look at some states, there is absolutely nutritional labeling laws, at the restaurant level. So if you can have a culinary degree and a nutrition behind it, you have a very, very successful career path in a very comfortable work arrangement. I know a lot of people that have gone on and they do them on their own from their homes, via a computer now. You meet with your client, you determine their needs, you go home and you do it and you email it to them. So it's a great career path as well if you want to, raise a family. There's a way to still be successful there.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for visiting us.
We're here now with Michael Bode, a recent graduate from Downers Grove South and a former student here at TCD, helping out at the expo. What are you doing today?
Today I'm doing the omelet station or egg cookery.
Okay.
Either we can make eggs or omelets for the guests, or the goal is to teach them how to do it.
Okay.
So they'll step on our side and do it.
So, wow. Well, we'll have to take some lessons later. Tell me a little bit about your experience at TCD. First of all, what made you decide that you wanted to come to TCD in this program area?
I guess it started, I got interested in cooking from my sister actually. She'd watch Food Network, and so I'd watch some of the shows, thought it was cool. Would cook at home. I did foods classes, junior high and high school, and I did those, really liked it, and then found out about TCD through my high school, Downers Grove South, and came here and just kind of went from there. I already knew I wanted to pursue culinary, so I knew this is a good program to get involved with, and I'm extremely happy that I did.
So you did it for 2 years?
I did, yes. Junior and senior year I was here.
So tell me a little bit about your experience. What was your typical day at TCD?
I was an afternoon student both years, so I get here at 12:30 every day until 2:30, so we had 2 hours. Some days we'd cook, some days we'd have lecture. There was a book that we followed, so we had tests, quizzes. We did a lot of emphasis on knife cuts, so we learned all different kinds of knife cuts. We learned breakfast cookery, how to make stock, how to cut up chicken, a lot of different aspects of cooking. So it kind of did vary, it varied kind of week to week. 1 week might be breakfast, 1 week might be something else,
And you came in, you said, with a little bit of kitchen experience. You had some skills, but what was surprising about what you learned?
I guess just the, amount that I learned here. Just it was so much different than your foods class in high school, where you're microwaving things, or reading the box recipe, and when you come over here and you learn how to make it from scratch. So it's just the amount of skill, I guess, that they taught us here. How to make cookies from scratch, how to make brownies. We had my first year here, I was in the bakery part for half the year and the culinary part for half the year.
Okay.
So just I guess just the amount of knowledge and skills that they taught us over a year's time was just fascinating to me. how much that we could learn, coming here every day. It was very valuable.
And I was talking with Faith a little bit about the competitions that this program area typically goes through. What was your experience with that? I understand that you did very well in competition as well.
Yes, I did the Pro Start team is what they have here. I did Pro Start junior and senior year. I got to go to Baltimore, Maryland both years for nationals.
Wow.
So that was a lot of fun. And then my senior year, when we went to Baltimore, we placed second in the nation. So that was very
amazing.
cool.
Tell me about that competition. What is that? Just a day, or is it a?
It's like I want to say 3 days altogether. Our team competed, just on one of those days naturally, but there was 50 teams there or so all over the United States.
And what does that mean to compete? Do they give you a recipe and you have to?
What we do
it?
we had practiced for 6 months probably altogether up until that point, and you have an hour to make a 3-course menu.
Oh my gosh.
And you cannot use any electricity. All you get is 2 little individual butane burners, and that's it.
Do you know what the recipe is before you get there?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we practiced it millions of times up to that point, actually. But you have to bring in all of your own, ingredients, all of your equipment, everything. And they just give you the burners, and you're on 2 6-foot tables, kind of like in an L shape, and there's 4 people on the team.
4 people.
So
Okay.
you're there, and you cook, your course in an hour.
So do you divide things up, or is
for
it an
sure.
assembly line type thing?
We would each have our own task, to do. We would divide it up naturally and then decide who's going to do what. Like I said, we practiced for months ahead of time. We had to win state first, which was here at Kendall College, where I currently am going. So we won state and then went on to Baltimore 2 months after that.
Amazing.
And we got second place. We got a lot of scholarship money and all different, shirts and hats, trophies, medals, and recognition of placing second in the nation, which is pretty cool thing for against I think it was 43 other teams that were there. It was a very cool experience.
So what are some of the advantages you feel that you got out of this, as opposed to just going to Kendall College on your own? I mean, aside from the obvious, the scholarships,
Right.
I'm sure that's huge.
Right.
But what did you get out of TCD that has kind of given you a leg up on maybe your fellow students at Kendall College right now?
I'd say the main thing is just the whole mindset of working and being in the kitchen, the discipline of what you have to do, just to focus on what you're doing at the time when you're in there, and not worry about anything else. They stress that a lot, especially in competition. You just focus on what you're doing, and you just get it done.
Right.
So going now into school, that makes a huge difference for me, because I know I can just focus on what I need to get done. Obviously, my knife skills are halfway decent, some better than others, some are better than me, and that's just the way it is. But yeah, definitely, knife skills, just the whole thing of being in the kitchen, working with others, teamwork obviously is a huge thing
Sure.
in the culinary industry. So having done competitions, I know what it's like to work with a team. What it's
Communicate with them.
Communication is a huge thing. Obviously, you're walking behind someone with a hot pan, hot behind you. Obviously, you want to communicate. And the whole image of a chef. We stress professionalism a lot here.
That's a good
TCD.
point.
Being clean shaven, clean uniform, pressed uniform, nice shoes. And at Kendall, that's one of their main things. You're in uniform all the time. If you're a culinary student, anywhere in the school, you're in uniform. And now going to Kendall with that attitude, you don't have your hat or you don't have your apron, you don't cook that day.
Oh, really? Wow.
So you just fail for the day. So that definitely helped a lot. Just having that image ingrained in your mind and used to doing it makes a big difference.
Did TCD help you narrow down your career goals? I know you kind of knew you wanted to cook, but did it having been exposed to so many different areas of it, did it help you focus in on what you want to do?
It did, for sure. Before I came here, I didn't really know what it was like to work in the kitchen. I never, it was in high school. I never had. I didn't know what it was about. I just knew it's what I wanted to do. So by coming here, It gave me that experience. I got, a couple jobs through here working in the kitchen, so I knew what that was like.
So what are you doing now?
Currently, I'm a line cook at Cantini Golf Course. So I've been there for 4 months. So I've got experience, working on the line, making the orders coming in, along with helping out with banquet stuff, because they do, banquets all the time. So I've actually got to help out the executive chef with some weddings. So,
great.
plating 200 meals. So that was a different experience, obviously. So that was a lot of fun. Just anything like that. It's just been good experience all over.
And what are your long-term goals then?
I'd like to own my own restaurant at some point. I'm not sure what yet. Maybe an Italian restaurant.
I was going to say, do you have a cuisine that you're kind of an expert in yet?
Not yet. I have a lot of experience kind of with breakfast stuff, so maybe a cafe. Not a whole lot of Italian food I've had experience with, but I like it. I like all the different kinds of pastas, and I think it's fascinating, all the different kinds of pastas that there are, So either one of those two. I don't know for sure yet, but I definitely want to have my own restaurant someday. Yeah,
Great.
for sure.
Well, good luck, Michael. Thank you so much for talking with us
You're
today.
welcome.